Hi everybody! Today we're going to paint a spooky scene. We're going to draw out first, hot glue, and then paint in all the elements. So for our first step, we want to tape off our paper, and we've done that before, so you want to leave about maybe a ½ inch on all the way around. And then you want to take a nice sharp pencil and you want to start to kind of sketch out this big spooky kind of tree. With some gnarly roots. And you want it to sit on a hill, so you are just kind of sketching in a hill area. You can take a couple more spooky limbs. You want to kind of figure out where your moon's going to go. Oh, this is a guesstimate. And let's put ghost in the sky. So we're just going to add a little line going across. And we'll add another little line going across. And this can trail back into the tree. Might cover it up, don't know. But that is our first step as far as drawing everything out. Hopefully you can see that. So we'll go ahead and just put our pencil down for now. And we're gonna pick up our hot glue gun. Now I had a really old hot glue gun, and honestly, it was time to get a new one. So I got a new one. I'm going to try this one out, and it should be way, way easier. So I want to figure out where my tree is going to go ahead and come off the page. Keep in mind, this is a new one, so trying to figure out how this works. There we go. Sun's coming out. I'm just going to follow our shapes for our spooky tree as best we can. There's, you know, a little bit of leeway in this, especially for me because I have a new hot glue gun, trying to see how it works. Once it gets the flow, it starts to do pretty good. And just follow our shapes. These are all going to get painted over anyway, so I'm not too worried about any of this. You can make more different lines also if you would like. We want to create some texture in the tree. You want to follow the direction that the lines are going in for contour. Alright, we'll get our hill. Figure out a bigger shape for our moon. And we'll go ahead and put these in. Just trace around our shapes. I'll give 2 little raised eyes and a scary little mouth. These are ghosts, by the way, in case you haven't quite figured it out. All right, so we've got our basis with our drawing, and we have our hot glue down. We're just gonna let this set up and cure a little bit before we start painting, and we'll start painting in just a little bit. All right, we have a basic setup. I have paint, I have my water, I have a paper towel, and I want a big brush to do this with. I also have a small round brush, or I'm sorry, a large round brush, and maybe a smaller round brush. But these are the tools I'm going to be using. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we want to take our big brush and we want to mix a background color for our sky. Rule of thumb, background to foreground. I'm going to get my brush wet, and we're just going to prep the canvas a little first, just so it sits in a little bit more. It glides on easier. And I'm just focusing on the sky portion of the painting for right now. So I've also taken my finger and I kind of moved it around to get some of the hot glue off. So if you still have some hot glue, probably a good idea to do that before you start painting. Either way, it doesn't matter if you get a little hair or a little stringy thing, it'll come out, and just use your brush to pluck it up. All right, we're gonna do kind of a teal background, so I'm gonna take a little scoop of blue and a little scoop of green. I'm gonna quickly swirl that together, add a little bit of water, and we're gonna go ahead and add this to our sky. So I'm staying around the ghost and the moon. Just gliding the paint on, nice and smooth. If you get it inside any of these elements, that's fine. You can still see the bumps on the hot glue to kind of guide you where you need to go. But we're just going to go around those areas to best be safe. And we'll go ahead and get in this bottom area right here. Oh no. Well, I said it was okay, but if you do have a pretty big blob, just reallocate it with the paper towel. Maybe a little water, so we'll paint that back over a little bit later. I'm just going back and kind of erasing some of the brush marks, or just smoothing out the wet paint a little bit more so it sits in the paper a little more snugly. Alright, I'm going to get in between the tree areas. Ooh, a lot. Alright, a little wetter in this area, so I'm going to go back over with just paint, give it more pigment. Could be a little darker. Maybe make a little bit more solid paint. Okay. Now that I have the sky over here a little drier, I'm just going to touch into a little bit of white and a little bit more of that mixture. And I want to go around the outside of my moon area. Making sure it's a little wider. It's about the size of the width of the brush. A little water is going to, of course, help it glide. Then I'm going to use a smaller brush for the stars. I think we're going to do stars in a Van Gogh inspired way. Got about 6 stars in there. Clean my brush a little. Take a little tiny bit of green and a little dab of black. Get a darker green. And of course, water that down a little. I'm going to go into the grassy area. Okay, so I'm going to make the moon a little bit white with some gray craters. Okay, if a little bit of blue gets touched in that, we'll just call it once in a blue moon. Alright, I'm just going to kind of pat my brush to kind of create craters. Maybe incorporate a little bit more white. And I'm going to scoop up a little tiny bit of white and a little tiny touch of black to get a bit of the gray. And I can kind of tap some gray in there. And if you don't love it at first, that's okay. We'll probably rework it a little bit later with a little bit more white. All right, we're just gonna switch brushes here. And I'm going to make brown for the tree, but I want it to be kind of metallic. So I have a metallic copper here. If you have this or if you have gold, both will work. But I'm just going to take a scoop of the copper and a little dab of the black to kind of tone that down. And I've got a nice base brown. I'm going to go ahead and coat my tree, getting the outside. And since the outside's pretty wet, let's just kind of hold into the middle first and let that dry a little bit more. And maybe mix a little tiny bit more. A little bit more. All right, we got a pretty good fill here. I'm not too worried about up here right now. Mostly just want to lay the color on and we'll go from there. I'll clean the brush. Maybe dip it to some white. Get a little white in the center. Where my stars are. And go ahead and paint my ghost a nice foundation. You can always cover up paint to let it dry, cover it up again. It might snake back, but it just means it needs another coat. Go ahead and add another coat a little bit later. And we can add a little bit more white to our moon. Always use your finger. Soften it up a little. Alright, we got a pretty good base. We're just going to let this set up and dry for a little bit, and we'll add some more details in just a bit. Okay, it's a little drier. Didn't use a blow dryer, but you could. Because some of the areas are delicate, we want to stay within the hot glue line. Just walk away, take a break. I have a smaller brush, and I want to mix a light yellow. So I'm going to take a little scoop of white and a little scoop of yellow and swirl that together. And I'm going to use a smaller brush for some of the details. Just set that to the side. And we want to go around each little star with little circular dash marks. And outside of the moon as well. We can start to get the ridges where the hot glue gun is, where the hot glue is from the moon. And the outlining. It might still be a little wet some areas. Go over this with a couple more. brush strokes of paint a little bit. Now that I have a smaller brush, I'm going to go ahead and get ghost tail. There's a little area there. Pretty wet still. I'm going to soak that up. I don't want it to get too embedded in the paper. Just a little paper towel to do that. Alright, I'm going to clean off my brush. We're going to add a bit of a darker detail in the background. So I'm going to take a scoop of blue, a dab of black, and make kind of a navy color. And we're just going to follow the curvature of our stars, a little ghost, just to try to get more of a darker background. I'm going to add a little orange color. Don't need a lot on this one. Just going to add a little dab of orange into mostly water. And just kind of fill in my moon. The harvesty moon. Around. So we'll add dabs of orange right in the stars. Go back in with a small brush and a little dab of black, get a darker green. And we'll just add this on the ridge. Just go along the same pathway for the line. Need it. Let's go a little bit of a smaller brush and add a scoop of white and a scoop of silver. Try to get some streaky lines in the ghost, following the contour. Pick up a little bit of black and maybe a little touch of copper, maybe a darker brown, maybe 2 touches of copper. Maybe a 1-1 ratio. You can get some of this on hot glue area. A little more dimension. You could go back into some black and just add a little tiny bit just here and there, just to give it some more shadow, drama. Now I got green in there. Clean off a small brush and add a little bit of black. And give our ghost eyes a little pop forward. A little tiny bit of copper. Maybe add a little copper to the inside of the stars to sparkle. Add a little bit of white. Overlap some of our stars in the yellow portion, a bit more of a glow. All right, that's pretty much it. But if you want to add some foliage to the tree, you can. It's kind of nicer, spookier, but if you add a little bit of the orange and just kind of dab it on, you can. But we're just going to keep it nice and basic and Van Gogh style. You could let it dry a little bit more, kind of wait. Or you could take the tape off. So I did let it dry a little bit, but I'm impatient and I want to go ahead and take the tape off. So find where it will lift and just follow that path. So if you have tape mark issues as far as it lifting some of the color, just go ahead and go back into some of those colors. Like in the sky, I have a little bit of a teal. I'm just gonna bake that little area. And I think I have it over here as well. And just fill in the gap. And there's your final product. Woo! Happy Halloween, y'all. Hope to see you soon.